are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
LA Street Angel, call to heal these streets. Wipe away the dust with your sacred wings.
Hey, and welcome to the Street Angel Show here in the heart of Hollywood at tradiov.com. Thank you for watching today, tuning in. We're going to have some awesome stuff to share with you today and cool guests, and I'm so excited. All right, so let me introduce myself. I am Mandolyn Reese. In case you've never watched the show before, I'm known as the Street Angel or the LA Street Angel, and I wear angel wings, and I have posters front and back that promote kindness and positive messages because we don't have billboards and commercials yet for that. So we need it, and somebody's got to do it, and I'm trying to start this movement, and someday you will see it will catch on. So I wander around Where's Waldo style in various public settings and just kind of rock some wings and posters and get weird looks and give hugs and a lot of fun and sparkle and glitter. So speaking of glitter, today's topic is pursuit of happiness, and one of my guests likes to wear glitter all the time. This is Marla Martinson.
Hi, everybody.
Here to my left, and
Hello.
she's written a book on Buddha, so I brought my sparkly Buddha here. And yeah, across from me we have David Chatfield, and he's also written a book. He's a high-powered entertainment attorney. And so they've both written books on happiness. So the topic of the day being the pursuit of happiness. I've devoted this show to helping others and raising the vibe of the universe and spreading positivity. So that is what this show is all about. So yeah, there we go, rockin'. So getting to the happiness. First half of the show we're gonna talk to Marla a lot, and David's gonna be my co-host shooting questions and comments, and second half of the show we're gonna be focusing more on him and his book and his story, but we're all just going to have this cool collaboration for happiness for you and for them and for everybody. So let's get to it, shall we? You ready to party? Yes?
I'm ready.
A little bit? Okay. So Buddha made me do it. Marla wrote this book that intrigued me, and she's basically a matchmaker. She's a well-known Hollywood matchmaker, and she does these, get people together for love. She's a real-life Cupid. We got to get her to wear some wings today.
Yes.
You know? Here's some wings. You are winged for being a Cupid and hooking people up with love and relationships
This way, right?
and yeah, however you want to do it.
Oh, look at that.
So she wrote like 4 or 5 books before this one on matchmaking, memoirs and your cool stories. And you can go to her website and check out all her books. I wanted to kind of grill her about the Buddha made me do it because I'm curious about her enlightenment experience and spirituality. She did a major shift from matchmaking. I mean, you still do it, but you shift, and you got into enlightenment and spirituality. And so, how do you want to start?
Well, I will just tell you it's interesting because I talk about this. I have a YouTube channel, a show that it was Conversations with Cupid, and I changed it to Cosmic Conversations because I'm really my Joyce, and we're talking about happiness. Talking about giving dating tips, it just wasn't bringing me joy anymore, and the topics that I started to discuss were more on the cosmic level. I'd have angel communicators and psychics and people who were into alien sightings, and I had you on. And anyway,
oh yeah, she interviewed me.
Yeah,
it's on her
Mandy,
YouTube channel.
my YouTube channel and blog, and so yeah, I've been a matchmaker for affluent men seeking beautiful women for 15 years, and it's how I make my living. It's challenging, though. I enjoy it, but it is challenging because the shallowness of it. Men are already visual, but then when they're paying thousands of dollars, they tend to say, well, I want a woman with a heart-shaped face, or if she doesn't have a C-cup chest or higher, forget it. Or if she's not blonde, if she doesn't have blue eyes, if she's not under 35. So
why don't they just have a DNA, sample?
I'd say I wish I was had a Frankenstein's laboratory to build you the perfect woman, but I don't. So I've always been interested in spirituality and always been on a path for years and years. But I really love my job, love my clients, but the shallowness of it and the challenging part of it was really getting to me. And so I started accelerating my spiritual quest. And me and my friend Julie started going. I mean, we did anything from learning how to use a pendulum to candle magic to going to psychics to going to psychic fairs. I got beaten with bamboo because it's supposed to, bring up any trauma. And I
Really?
tried it all. And it was learned how to use the talking board, started connecting with my angel. I astral traveled. So I was doing all this. And Julie, who is a celebrity ghostwriter, she says, Marla, we should write a book on our spiritual journey. And
It's like once you get started on the spiritual journey, it's just this.
yeah,
like,
you go nuts. And I got
You can't
I'm
stop.
a crystal healer like you. I'm a Reiki
Reiki,
master now.
yeah.
I'm doing all this stuff.
You kept learning and
kept
growing.
learning, and I love it. But the things along the way. So it's funny because I've got a Latin husband. Just call us Ricky and Lucy. He's a musician. I'm always trying to get in the show. He was brought up Catholic in Mexico City. Believes in God, but angels don't exist. Marla, are you losing your mind? These are just paintings that Michelangelo made up. They're not real. You're not talking to anyone. Come on.
That's what he said?
Yeah.
Oh.
So he's like, you're spending too much money on this spiritual bullshit, and what are you doing? And I'm like, no, but really,
Right.
And I'm like, let me clear your energy. And he's like, get away from me,
Did you eventually rub off
So-
on him?
Yeah, well, now he's proud of me that he tells everybody she's got her master's. She's a Reiki master. So
Okay.
in certain ways, but this is all interwoven in the book. It's a memoir. So that I had my, the clients that I was dealing with, my husband who was trying to stop me from doing all this stuff, and then me who's just soaking up all this stuff. So it's great. And now he likes being given crystal healings. He loves that, but he's like, do not bring up angels with me. It's not true. It's not real. So don't even bring it up.
How interesting. And you're here on the Street
And I'm in
Angel
the
Show.
Street Angel Show.
Uh-oh.
Well, he'd love you because you're doing something good. But the ones that we can't see, no, I'm not talking to them.
Well, here's the reason for the angel thing. One, it's the Los Angeles, right? City of Angels,
Yes.
right? But then they're well known throughout history as messengers of peace, right?
Yes.
I mean, in architecture, artwork, religion, there's angels throughout the world, throughout history and culture. So, it's a pretty well-known icon. And so the wings work to promote kindness. And this is all part of the calling that hit me.
Yes.
So
It's beautiful. I love it.
he's going to watch, right?
Oh, yeah. It's fine. He just kind of laughs. Okay, Marla.
He's gonna love your
Marlene,
wings.
Love the wings.
But it's perfect for a Cupid thing
No,
because they're
he'll like
pink
this.
and
He'll like this.
cute.
Now, if I pull out my talking board, he won't be too happy. But
No? Okay.
just
Well, we won't pull out
stay with the selenite wands. See, I brought some stuff
The
because
selenite's really good stuff.
for clearing. Our energy field does get stagnant, and I had a woman come. This is where I meld everything with the matchmaking. So I had a woman come to me, late 50s, never been married, wanted to be with someone, and she came and we did a few sessions, and we worked on her self-worth. We worked on clearing out old stagnant energy. We worked on the heart chakra. And she's now in a great relationship, and so
Yay.
that's was so
On that note, that was so what?
so gratifying. I mean, that's what it's all about. Helping people
Exactly.
to shift, to open up, and clear out old patterns. And there's a lot of self-worth issues that people don't realize they have, and we do.
That's what I wanted to interject that you put on your website. A quote that I highlighted that I loved. It said, "The realization that if we aren't madly in love with ourselves and absolutely love our own life, it doesn't matter if Prince Charming or Princess rides into your neighborhood, he or she's going to gallop right by your house. When you know that you are worthy, special, unique, and fan-freaking fabulous, you leap out of bed each morning because life is so fun. Your energy will radiate out into the universe and opportunities will unfold in front of you like a magic red carpet." I love that. And it's so true. And, developing your self-worth is a process because first you have to have the awareness that, you're feeling bad about yourself. That's number one, step one. So then, okay, what are you going to do about it? And there's a lot you can do about it. Like meditating, there's a lot of free websites or on YouTube, meditations on YouTube. You can clear out your chakras, all kinds of cool stuff to balance. Do you have any recommendations for how did you get people with their self-worth?
Yeah, well, and if anybody goes to my website, www.marlamartinson.com, if you sign up for my newsletter, you'll get a free self-worth meditation, self-love
Ooh.
meditation. It's fantastic. I went in the studio. My husband's a composer, so we got a full studio at home. Went in the studio, did a beautiful meditation, so everybody can get that. And then I send out a weekly newsletter with a lot of tips and videos and everything for that. And it's important to know. I mean, I did a video recently. A man emailed me, and he said my videos had helped him a lot. He's a gay man who had low self-worth because society had told him gay is wrong. A beautiful message for him, but basically it's, you know, if we're here, we've got the golden ticket. We're supposed to be here. We all have a purpose, and we've got to make the most of it and bring our talents out. There's no mistakes. You're not just here and you shouldn't be here, but somebody else should be. And we all have gifts that might be just latent, and we're not bringing them out because we feel a little
Fear.
uneasy or fear or maybe
Insecure.
what do I have to say? But believe me, if you take that time out and meditate like you said and think about it, you have something somebody needs. And when you focus on someone else, you're not focusing too much on yourself.
A quote I knew somewhere was, if you have a testimony, it's part of your purpose to share it, because your testimony can help others.
Absolutely.
So, and that's a really, really beautiful thing, because, you know, all of us go through life and we pick up wounds and scars and things that have happened to us, and we have no idea why. We have no explanation for why the bad things happen. But if you're still alive, then guess what? You grew and you survived through that, and it made you stronger somehow. So it's a strong story to be able to, you know, acknowledge that, own it, and just know that that's what part of who you are and what made you who you are to this day. And, you know, and no matter what has happened to you, no matter what you've done, tomorrow is a new day. Today can be a new day. Just shift your awareness and start thinking of gratitude. And actually, speaking of that, while I'm on it, I just bought this gratitude journal recently at Jack Canfield's event, and where I met him. It's a daily journal. It has just like little paragraphs that you fill in each day for things you're grateful for. I actually keep it next to my bed. Before I go to bed, I fill out what the things that I was grateful for during my day. And that can just make you go to bed feeling good, because you're like, hey, all my needs were met. I had food and clothes, and like maybe I had something really fun happen to me today. So gratitude is important for keeping your positive vibe and your mood up, and then you have better dreams and all this good stuff, right?
That's right. Yeah, we are so lucky. We just turn on the news and see the chaos going on in the world, and people with no. And in what's is it Brazil or what country? They're running out of food. Even, you know,
Really?
there's something's happening all over the place. So we are so lucky. Every day we get up, it's like we make our nice breakfast, our coffee, whatever.
Right.
Look outside, look at the bougainvillea here in Los Angeles, see the squirrels. So I am so every day that you know, wake up like that, I'm so happy.
Anything and everything can change at any moment. And that's something that I try to keep in mind, because just knowing that can make each moment, each day that goes well, that much more special and better and memorable. Because, I mean, sometimes I see the news and I see how people just croak. They're like, literally this lady, like yesterday, I saw on the news, she's in line at CVS buying something, a card or something. Some guy, complete stranger, just whacks her on the back of the head with a full liquor bottle, and she died.
This was on the news?
This was yesterday.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, okay, random lady at the register, and she just won't get killed by a stranger for no reason in the world, random attack. You can just die at any time, so enjoy your life one day at a time. Like, even if you feel like crap, just be like, you know what, I'm alive, I'm just going to try to make the best of it, right?
Yes.
So let's get back to you. We're like on these random but cool
true.
tangents, right? But that's what's cool about this show. It's live, and we just go with the flow. So what was a defining moment in your life that you think maybe set off your spirituality?
Well, the first time I really kind of delved into it, I was 27 years old, long time ago, and somebody gave me this little red book by Florence Scovel Shinn called The Game of Life and How to Play It. And she was a woman who wrote these books and started in the 1920s and 30s and 40s, and she was a metaphysical, you know, now we'd say like a metaphysical coach or something. People would come to her and spiritual counselor.
Cool.
And I read all of her books, and they're still available. They're small books. They're Your Word is Your Wand, and anyway, they're just great with and affirmations. So I started saying affirmations all the time. And then, of course, you know, I went to see Marianne Williamson when she first started out in Hollywood, and go to Agape, Dr. Michael Beckwith, Wayne Dyer, all of those. So I was always reading books, going to lectures. But then it was this, I think, this accelerated path was my work as a matchmaker was kind of the catalyst. It's like I have to get a grip on what's going on here, and people are just wanting, to pick people because of body parts or age or something.
Right.
And so I was looking for, I think, something to balance. And I think the energy work and, kind of the love and support I could bring to my clients now with that coming from that basis, because otherwise it's just, you just feel like a pimp. I mean, you're
Right.
just like,
Well,
"Hey, let me
people-
give you a big boobed
yeah.
blonde, that's not what I want to do. I want to find, I'm all about marriage and long-term relationships. We've got a guy engaged now, which is exciting.
Yeah.
And that's the goal. So I kind of want to get that, the shift
Well,
there.
like the deeper reason is happiness.
Yes.
They think if they can get the perfect Barbie doll girl to love them, and that there's going to be harmony, that they're going to be happy. I think that's the main basic reason people even date. They're like, I
Right.
want to find someone to make me happy. And
Yeah.
and the part of your quote is like, first you have to be happy with yourself. And that's something I struggle with even each day. Sometimes I get really stressed out, but then when I'm so much more spiritually evolved in my mind now that at least I'm aware of it and I can shift it. And once I work on the shift of my own thoughts and perspective, then it makes a complete difference in how I feel and my mood, because your thoughts affect your feelings.
And being true to ourselves. I mean, even just I was thinking before we started looking at you, thinking, what guy would be perfect for you? And, there's a lot of guys that wouldn't be, because they're going to have to accept, you doing what you're doing, all of your spiritual and energy work. And because I match guys that are like, I don't want to date a vegan. I don't want to date a Wicca. I don't want to date a
Right.
girl who's into this, or if she believes in that. So
I'd have to have a
but-
guy who understands where I'm
understands you,
coming
but
from
you've
and-
got to be you. You're not
Right.
going to switch. That's very important. Not to say, well, maybe I should tone it down or be. You have to be you, and the right person is going to gravitate towards you because you're so happy with what you're doing. You're bringing joy to people. You're this beautiful presence
Well,
on the
thank you.
planet. And so the right man will be, I don't know if you have a guy now or not, but the right one would be coming to you instead of you trying to fit into some other box.
Well, I think if I did, he'd probably be my right-hand wingman, But no, not yet. So what is your personal advice to others for the pursuit of happiness?
Well, yes, get right with yourself, because it's such a cliche, if you don't love yourself, nobody else will love you. But it's so true. Find out what makes you happy, because maybe you never will meet somebody. Let's say you wouldn't. Are you going to be miserable the rest of your life? So you got to find out what makes you happy. Do the things you want to do. If you want to go to, I've had somebody say, "Oh, I want to go to Venice, Italy," but I'm going to save that for when I'm with somebody, because you shouldn't go there alone. You got to go with somebody. What if you never meet that person, or something happens, or you go by yourself, go with a group, go with a friend.
Adventures.
I used to, when I was single, I'd travel to Europe alone, and I'd meet people along the way. I loved that. So don't hold off
Right.
on things. Like you said, you could get knocked over the head with a bottle.
Yeah.
Go to Venice.
Right.
Go,
Well, I go on adventures all the time. Just go look at my Instagram, Facebook. It's like I'm always at events and all different kinds.
Yes.
I go to like festivals, and I go to conventions, and I go to red carpet events, and I'm just kind of all over the place. But socializing is something that makes me happy. I like to be around people and talk and meet new people, and how I met you guys. Right, random stuff like healing classes. That's how we met.
We were at a healing class.
And then I met you at a red carpet-ish, one of those society
several of
unique.
them, I
Yeah,
think.
several. We have a few pictures of that, but we'll get to that. So we already kind of went over who your typical client was. Like, kind of, is it older rich guys?
I have some young rich guys too.
Young
my
rich
guys are
guys?
great. They're professional. They're doing a lot in the world. My youngest guy right now is 35. The oldest is 62. They're well traveled. They're all healthy. I don't have any smokers. They're like into. Some of them have wine cellars, or they have. I've had billionaires. I've got all. They're all doing well to doing very well, but it's exciting because they're super busy. They're traveling, they're building companies, and they want that quality woman with them, and they don't have time to sit on the
Well, see,
internet.
they got to look at a woman's heart.
They got to look at a woman's heart, but men are visual. This is what we got to get. It's kind of a curse for guys, because if they don't like what they
Yeah.
see, they don't want to know what's in that heart. So they've
Right.
got to like, and that's okay. I understand that.
Right.
But
Everyone
some-
has their own type.
Yes,
Everyone is
yes.
different and what they're attracted to. So
Right.
even if you're not with someone now, don't worry, because there is people out there that would be attracted to you no matter what. I mean,
Right.
and I have a story about that. Can I share it real quick?
Yeah.
One time I was at the store. I was feeling kind of down, lonely. I think I'd just gone through a breakup. And I was like, I'm alone and blah, blah, blah. And then I'm in the aisle of this grocery store, and I hear this like making out noises and giggling, and like I'm like, what? And I turn, and there's a woman. Do you ever see those cards at like Spencer's Gifts, like the really obese women and like
yes.
it's okay. So she was like a 400-pound woman, but she had an average, normal-looking dude. They were happy and making out, and that was a very profound moment for me because I was like, you know what? No matter what, if you're happy with yourself, you can find somebody and be happy together. So it was just kind of a cool moment for me, like seeing that. Like,
yeah, I watched
you know?
I watched an episode of Howard Stern on YouTube the other night. And there was a woman. She was either 400 or 600 pounds, and she was with her husband, and he was a real fit, handsome guy, but he has a fetish for big women. And her goal was to be 1,000 pounds. Wow. And they were like, why would you do that to yourself? You're not even going to be able to get out of bed. But it was a whole thing, and then she did the internet thing where guys would pay to watch her eat on the internet. So she had her whole business.
There's a type
business,
for
but
everybody.
See, guys, there was a lot of guys paying. She makes a lot of money. They want to see a large woman eating on the internet.
Well,
so
you know what?
Some like skinny, some like curvy, some like real big.
Well, the old statues from thousands of years ago show goddess figurines, and they're all like curvy or obese, like almost all of them. Like, so it's like nowadays we're kind of conditioned to more look like Victoria's Secret models. That's what they're putting on all these, fashion shows and runway shows and the magazines. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't think we should let the press or society tell us what's beautiful. Everybody has some beauty in them, and I don't like that. It's like you have to be, and then everyone's scrambling to lose weight or look perfect and do surgeries and dangerous things. I don't like that. Just be yourself.
So are you successfully juggling the matchmaking and the Reiki? Because you got into Reiki for animals.
That too. Animals too.
Do you kind of just live in all directions, doing a little of everything?
My husband's like, Marla, do you want to go to the moon too? What do you want to do? But no, my matchmaking's my full time. And then I do have everything set up in my office in the San Fernando Valley. And people can come and have sessions, and I do beautiful crystal healing and Reiki. But I'm not pushing that much because I am busy with the matchmaking. But that's something I'll move into more. But I'm on a healing team at the Imagine Center in Tarzana. We're having a big grand reopening this Saturday, the 18th,
I'm gonna be
all day, and I'm going to
go.
be there signing books, and then we're going to do a lot of fun stuff. But I'm on the healing team there, so once a month I do healings with them. We do outreaches in the community and do healings, and then
I'd love to do that.
Yeah, so that's where I got the book talks about the Imagine Center. That's where I got my start with the crystal healing and stuff. So I'm doing that, and then I was writing the book, and then I have my YouTube show, and then I have my blog, and then I have my husband, my dog, and it's one of those like just go as fast as you can.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I'm a Gemini, so I can keep. There's two people here, two wacky redheads trying to
and I
have
think
as many
Pisces
careers
is like that
as
too.
they can.
Pisces, the two fish, they're pretty much two personalities.
Like two. I have so many interests, and just like you said, we have so little time here on Earth, and there's so many things I want to do, and of course I won't get to them all. But you know what? I'm going to try to cram as much in as I can.
Right, just living to the fullest, one day at a
Right.
time. I push that all the time, just like what we were talking about earlier about you never know when your time is up or when you're going to transition over to something else, but your life can just change. Like I watched Cloud Atlas, the movie, last night. Oh, it's such an epic movie. I always end up crying at the end because I was like, it's such a beautiful movie. Like, people have got to watch Cloud Atlas. I mean, you need to watch it a couple times because it's so unique. But it's the creativeness, the makeup, the costumes, the things they say, the quotes are just so profound. Like, I just end up crying like a little girl. I'm like, it's such a beautiful movie. But, okay, so we got 2 minutes left. Spiritual, how do you, so with your guardian angel, what do you talk to that often?
Yeah, my guardian angel, Mirth. And that's all in the book, how I met Mirth. And she's got message. Yeah, Mirth, M-U-R-T-H. She's
Cool.
got messages in here too for people. And I ask her things when different things happened. Some lower energies. I had some negative lower attachments, and different things happen. Because when you're on a spiritual journey, you go to these big events and stuff, and there's a lot of energy. Like you saged the room, and so I got some attachments and had to have those removed. And so a lot of stuff happened. But I have a talking board. It's I can show if anybody wants to see it.
And she means like other people's energies can
or there's
affect you.
energies hanging around, but just like it's a board, and it has.
It's not a Ouija
People call them
board.
Ouija boards, but Ouija is just the brand name that got trademarked in the 1890s. But Yeah, you can. I mean, I can use anything. I can write it. Write.
I use angel
letters.
cards.
It's really angel cards. It's channeling. It's like channeling, but there's the letters there, and I get wonderful, profound messages. And it took a while to be able to do it by myself, but after the Reiki and the different energy work, I opened up my channel, and I'm able to do it. So people are kind of intrigued. Like I said, my husband just thinks I'm just making it up, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just this professional woman that's just
Yeah.
pretending, It's
The
but
people closest
it's
to
all right.
us can really grind us.
It's something different, but there's a lot of people out there who are into it, That
Yeah. Well, how can people find you? MarlaMartinson.com.
Yeah, marlamartinson.com.
We have her website.
And go.
All your
go see
books
me there.
are on Amazon. And
Yeah, Amazon.
So you can buy her books if you're interested.
come out too if this, anybody seeing this live at the Imagine Center.
I wish I could go, but I won't be able to this Saturday. But in a future one.
Yeah,
I'd like to go.
it's going to be fun. So
Where
Okay.
is that?
that's in Tarzana on Ventura Boulevard. And do I have that up on? I have it on my Facebook.
Okay,
Also,
people
yeah.
can find it.
Yeah, people can find
Like,
it.
just
Contact
Google-
me.
Google it.
Yeah,
Or-
Google the Imagine Center in
Sign up for her
Tarzana
newsletter.
Saturday. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, we're going to go to commercial. And when we come back, we're going to be really zoning in on David Chatfield over here and talking about his book, Cracking the Code to Happiness. So stay with us. We'll be right back with some more awesomeness. Thank you.
LA street angel, called to heal these streets.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
LA street angel.
Hi, this is Madeline Reese, the LA Street Angel, and I have my talk show here in the middle of Hollywood. So come hang out with me, learn some awesome, new, cool spiritual stuff. And it's every Thursday, 1 o'clock Pacific time. TRadioV.com.
LA street angel, called to heal these streets. LA street angel.
Hello and welcome back to the Street Angel Show here in Hollywood. I am Madeline Reese, the Street Angel, and we're here talking about the pursuit of happiness and other random topics. We talked to Marla Martinson last segment, and so now we're going to be talking to David Chatfield. Hello, welcome again.
Hi, how are you?
Yay, I'm excellent. I'm having a great time.
That's great.
How are you guys?
Well,
You having fun?
We're having fun so far.
Yeah, interesting stuff. So David has a really cool bio on his website. You should go check it out, and we have some pictures of that and his website. But I mean, he's a CEO of United Music Group. He's a high-powered attorney, entertainment attorney. So you work with musicians and artists and all sorts of people,
Producers.
producers, and in addition to that, that's your full-time job, right?
That's,
Basically.
well, I have so many.
So many things. Jack of all trades. That's how it is around here. But you also wrote a book on happiness, which is why I was like, hey, you'd be great for the show and for the topic. And so his book is called Taking Control, Cracking the Code to Happiness. Whoopsh. So what spurred you to write this?
Well, it started when my daughter went off to college. She grew up in Southern California. It was sunny and bright and happy every day. And then she went off to dark, dreary Northern California, and it was rainy, and she couldn't get out of bed, couldn't go to class. So I would start writing Facebook posts every day to try to motivate her, to get her going, and positive, inspirational things.
And it worked.
And I sent it every day, and then at the end of her school year, I stopped writing, and then all of a sudden I heard from hundreds of my friends. They said, "Why did you stop? You were getting us out of bed."
Aw.
And I said, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that."
You were
So
having an
I
effect.
guess I'll have to write a book, and that's how it started. So I took
Cool.
a whole year's worth of Facebook posts, and then everything else I learned through my life and experience, and put it in the book.
I love that. Is this your only book right now?
So far,
It's perfect. I mean, that's a really cool story to how it led up to you doing it. Like, you had that positive effect on people, and they're like, we need more. So, yeah. When did this happen?
well,
A couple years ago?
no, a couple of years ago is when the Facebook post started, but I spent the last 3 years writing the book. It came out in November, and by Thanksgiving, I was getting emails from all around the world, people telling me that I was changing their lives.
Awesome.
And so that was very rewarding. On Thanksgiving, people are giving thanks to me.
Awesome. So people can buy this where?
On Amazon. It's available on Amazon. I'm doing an audiobook now. Should be done by next month. Then it's also available on Kindle, and it's
Cool.
available all over the world.
Nice. Okay. So, cracking the code to happiness. We were going to talk about some of the points that you made in this book. In general, we can just talk about something about how to live with integrity, gain trust and confidence of your friends and family.
Yeah, it's the foundation of a good relationship is integrity, because I find that you can't begin a relationship with anything other than integrity. And what integrity means to me is real simple things, like you tell your friend you're going to meet them on Tuesday for lunch,
Keep your word.
and you actually show up. It's unbelievable, but
Right.
there are so many people out there that these
Flakes.
days, they're typing the messages into their phone, so that depersonalizes it. And the people are actually picking up the messages off their phone. So it's like they don't even believe that they're making an agreement with a person, but they actually are. They're just sticking electronics in between.
Right.
And it's kind of funny, but they don't think anything of just not showing up. They don't even say we're not coming
Yeah.
because something else came
I've
up.
had that happen to me many times.
Yeah.
And sometimes in life you get to a point where you just want to cut the flakes out of your life, especially if it's a repeated problem. You don't want to keep putting yourself out on a limb and then somebody's constantly flaking out on you. And, it kind of brings you down. You're like, well, you want people that keep their word and are reliable. And I do my best, honestly, to do that. Like, if I tell somebody, yes, I will go be at your concert and support you, I'm going to make that effort to be there. And if I can't, and this is a message for everybody, if you can't show up to something that you said you were going to go to, tell them right away and tell them why you can't make it. People need that validation as to why you're not able to show up for them when they were relying on you, right?
Yeah, but it's very important when you make a commitment to someone that you keep it. And unless an emergency happens, if someone else calls you, if you were going to a concert and someone else calls you and says, well, we have these tickets to go see the Dalai Lama, and you go, oh my God, I'd love to do that, but I have a commitment, a previous commitment, and I can't let my friend down. And so you keep your commitments. And that way people start to trust you more. They know that if they ask you to do something, you will actually follow through. You become someone that they can trust.
Right.
And so that's the basis of forming a good relationship, is starting with integrity.
And it's important, though, for people to try to not make promises or commitments that they know up front they probably can't keep. And things like, marriages and stuff, that often those do end up, breaking up for whatever reason. And, you just learn from your experiences and don't let them drag you down and feel guilty and shame. I mean, things happen. People's lives change. People themselves, their personalities, they change. You might not stay together in the same, path. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
And the biggest thing is communication. And that, even if a commitment or something isn't working out as you thought it would, at least communicate about it and put that into it. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Right.
So
I'm not talking about long-term plans. I'm talking more about the
short-term
day-to-day
stuff.
living,
Right.
that everybody just kind of takes for granted, but is really the basis of all of our relationships. How did these people make you feel today? How did you make them feel today?
Be
And-
good to people.
And
Yeah.
have a short memory too. In relationships, my husband always says, if we have an argument, it's like, okay, it's forgotten now. Don't just bring it up and drag and get
Right.
mad. You just have a short memory, made a mistake, and go on.
Right.
Yeah, I deal with that in the book. I talk about letting go of the past and forgiving and forgetting, and just go on with your daily life. You're living in the present moment, and that's what can really make a difference. When I went to see the Dalai Lama said, the past is gone, and no force can change that. But you can change the future by acting a certain way in the present. But you have to do it quickly, because the present is here, and it's gone.
so fast. Yeah. Well, that's why I brought this poster or thing. It says, "Live for today and make it so beautiful that it's worth remembering."
Yeah.
It's kind of crooked.
Yeah,
right
creating
now.
memories. I have a friend who always says
Well,
that.
whatever.
Let's create some beautiful memories.
Right. I think we should make each day memorable. And every Sunday I wake up thinking that this week, the upcoming week, I'm going to have the best day of my life. And because I believe that, it actually happens. Every
The
week,
magic carpet.
something happens, and it becomes the best day of my life. And then the next Sunday I wake up, and I know I'm going to have the best day of my life that week. And so I just keep going on, believing is what you talked about earlier, about the mindset, about the power of the mind.
You have to get a wrangle over your own thoughts.
Yeah.
And I don't know where dark thoughts come from. I don't know if this just random stream of consciousness, but once you just have to have that awareness and recognition. Okay, I'm having some crappy thoughts right now, and that is affecting your mood and emotions. So then you're going to have crappy mood and emotions and feel depression and shame and guilt. And, get rid of that crap, slough it off, and just be like, okay, what can I be grateful for? That's the big thing about focusing on gratitude, because it's a positive thing. And once you focus on being grateful for something, that will change your mood. You'll be like, okay, actually, I feel better now. So, you know what I'm saying? And now let's talk about toxic relationships, because that's so important. So many people are around toxic people. What's your advice for that?
Well, if you're around a toxic person and you feel them sucking the energy out of you, they're like energy vampires. And when they leave you, you need to go to bed. You can't deal with it.
I know that
You
feeling.
have to just get rid of these people, because they're not going to change.
Right.
People don't change unless they want to, and most people don't want to change. So
Even if you tell them, sometimes they won't. They're not able to change. It's almost like
No.
they're a computer program, and they won't change because they're programmed that way.
No, it's each individual. It's great that everybody's not the same, because if everybody was the same, it would be so boring. But each individual has their own personality. I have quirky, cranky friends, and I accept them just the way they are.
Right.
And once you start recognizing whether people are negative or positive and their effect on you, then you can make a choice. Who do I want to be with, negative or positive
Right.
people?
Well, yeah.
I chose to get
Yeah.
rid of all the negative people, and as soon as I got rid of a negative person, like 5 positive people would come in, because they can fill the space of one negative person.
That's true.
Yeah, because they don't suck your energy, they add to it.
Right.
And they make you feel great about yourself, and then that's how I have a happy day.
Yeah.
I had to hang up on. I had a friend who would just never get off the phone, no matter what. They'd just be on there gossiping. And in the past, I ended up having to just hang up on him.
Right.
It's terrible.
It does
right?
drain the energy.
It drains, yeah.
Just,
It's like, I don't have
uh,
time. I don't even know who
yeah.
you're talking about. I don't
Paying
have time to-
attention, dealing with them, that it drains your energy.
But
So
you-
you have
you-
to limit contact.
You have to cut it off. Unless they're a family member that you
That's
can't cut
tricky.
off.
Right.
That you just limit your contact,
Yeah.
as you said. But
Right.
you just have to get rid of all the negative people from your life. You can't subject yourself to that. You can't be happy if there's all this negativity attacking you all the time.
Right.
I got to the point where all the negativity just kind of bounces off of me. I don't even listen to it or look at it anymore.
Like Superman.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think of, like the Teflon president or something.
Right.
It just bounces off me because, I put positivity up as,
Yeah.
some kind of protection.
You can still love the dragons in your life. That's a positive way to look at it. If your family members are toxic to you, you can still love them. Have that unconditional love that, you're kind of have with those familial bloodline bonds. But, you might need to limit your contact or be careful with how they affect you, your thoughts, and your mood, because sometimes they can try to manipulate you to bring you down to their level. Does that make sense? Like, almost like bring your vibration down and
Well-
make you pissed off. And then it's like, misery loves company. There's a reason for that saying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, a lot of people, they like to, criticize and say bad things about you, but it comes from their own jealousy and fear. So you just have to not accept what people say about you. You really shouldn't care. You should just be yourself, honest and open, and not really care how that really affects everyone else.
I love that.
And the same way, you just need to accept people the way they are. Don't have your own unrealistic expectations. Every time you create an expectation, you're creating a disappointment, a future disappointment. So it's much better not to set yourself up for disappointment by having your own unrealistic expectations. And people who get into a relationship with someone that they think they have to change, You know, a lot of people are together in a relationship. You're a relationship coach. And you see there are people that get involved in a relationship and the woman or the man says, well, I can do this. I just can change one thing that's wrong with them that I can't accept. And I'm thinking, well, that's not going to happen.
Well,
No,
people
and-
do change, though, in a relationship. I wrote a whole blog about this, about, you know, you can try to find people who are not going to change you, but no matter what kind of romantic relationship you get yourself into, you have to, collaborate, communicate, compromise, because there are going to be some things you may need to adjust to have more harmony in the relationship, especially if you really love that person. Does that make sense?
I think that's kind of a little bit different. Somebody's basic personality or the way they eat or whatever, like I'm vegan and my husband keeps trying to change it. It's not going to change. I say, you can keep asking me. He goes, can't you compromise when we go out? We can maybe, if we go to Paris, you're going to have some duck, or can't you compromise? I
Right.
said, you can ask me that 100,000 times. It's not going to happen.
There are
and
some
he's so
things,
disappointed
yeah.
and he's trying to change. So there's some things you have to accept that person. I have to accept that he's
Right.
eaten animals. I have to accept, he's got a controlling personality. He's a Virgo, so he's more like he wants to fix everything. He wants to be in charge, and so I got to let him be that way.
Right.
There's
some things
and it's not
yeah,
always easy,
just
but
agree.
you're like, that's him and I'm me. So let's just let me be me and you're you.
Absolutely.
Right?
As long as it doesn't hurt you.
Yeah.
You know, everybody can be the way they are. And as long as it's not hurting you or zapping your energy or something, that's not a bad thing, really.
Right.
Because
as
it
long
adds.
as long as you let it, because you're
Yeah.
like you said, you want to get into a relationship, and women do this. Oh, he's great, but if I just
Yes.
change his love for Monday Night Football or the way he dresses, it's like, no, then you don't really love him. You got to let him be.
Yeah, I understand that. And
Right?
people are always trying to change me. And
They are?
I'm not going to change. I'm going to
What
be.
are they trying to change about you?
What are they trying to change?
Yeah,
Just
what-
it doesn't matter. It's somebody always wants to change something.
Women? When
Yeah,
you're,
yeah,
oh,
of
pretty much,
course.
yeah.
Men, men, it's another topic. I won't talk about men. But, women are always trying to change men. And
Yeah.
men are just trying to figure out women. And it's,
Well, it
it-
can
How
go
are we
both
even
ways.
getting together, right? How are we even-
It can go both ways. My last one was always trying to get me to dress a certain way, and I'm like, dude, I can dress myself. Leave me alone. So how do you lose all types of fear?
Oh, no.
How do you lose types of fear? Well, the first thing is to identify what you're afraid of. And most people don't really recognize what they're afraid of. And if you can't, just ask your friends, because your friends know everything about you. You think you're hiding things from your friends, but they know you better than you do.
Yeah.
And so you ask your friends, you go, really, what is it that I'm afraid of? And they'll tell you, and you go, oh, well, that's pretty silly. And you write it down on a piece of paper and go to the ocean and cast it away, or put it in a basket and light it on fire, and just get rid of your fear. And the hardest fear for most people is the fear of other people. And
What they're thinking.
it's what's really strange is everybody is afraid of everyone else. And when you think about it, how silly is it to be afraid of someone who's afraid of you? So I just decided to throw away fear and just go into, like you do, go into social situations, meet everyone, find out all about them. And it's so interesting. And then I stopped saying no to things. I started saying yes. And as soon as I started saying yes, all these opportunities came to me that I never had before. I'm flying off to the American Embassy in London. I'm meeting with the Dalai Lama. I'm going to the State Department in Washington, D.C. That would have never happened if I had opened all the doors
You have to say no to
fearlessly.
some things,
Well, you do have to say no.
especially as a woman.
Well,
Sorry, just had to go there.
okay, I'm
Sorry.
talking about opportunities that appear in
Right.
front of you.
Of course.
Be open to things and, face life and risk. Take risks, because you're not going to get any reward without risks.
Leave the comfort zone.
Yes.
Do you talk about people who are, like Facebook envy, or you're worried that everybody's more ahead of you or having a better life than you? Because that kind of paralyzes people too, right? What do you think about that?
It's, you can't let other people decide for you what's good for you. You have to have this self-worth. You guys discussed it earlier.
What makes you
Right.
happy?
Well, you just have to be confident in yourself, not be afraid that you're going to lose something. Fear of failure is a big thing. The people who are highly successful they fail all the
A
time.
lot, yeah.
But they don't think about it. They're not afraid of failing.
They just keep trying.
they talk about it like, going out on a limb. That's, I think of it as a tree. And when I heard that saying, I said, well, I don't live on the limb. I live on the leaves. Actually, I live on the edge of the leaves, so far out that I probably could fall off. But I never thought about falling off. I always just lived out there and took whatever risks were necessary to achieve my goal. And whenever, life is kind of strange. There's resistance that hits you all the time.
Yeah.
Every time you're trying to go after a goal. And the way I look at it and the way I talk to my clients around the world is I tell them if you're getting resistance, that means you're getting really close to your goal. Because the harder the resistance, the closer you're getting. And I said, just push through that resistance and you'll be able to reach your goal faster than you even notice.
Well, it's like water going around the rock. It's like just keep pushing forward. You know,
Yeah.
Bruce Lee says, "Be like water, my friend."
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean-
it's like go with the flow of life.
Just go after your goals every day and make sure you're keeping it in mind.
And turning disappointments into opportunities. I like that.
Oh yeah, that's really great.
In your book.
Most people, they get fired from their job. They go, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I tell them, well, now that you've lost your 9 to 5, now you have 9 to 5 free.
Right.
What would you really want to do? What do you really want to do? That gives you the opportunity, the space
It's
to
a door.
actually, yes. And most people, they spend so much time looking at the door that closed behind them,
Mhm.
they don't even see the doors that are opening in front
Right.
of them.
They can
That's
paint
a great
new
point.
life.
When I left a really good job in the middle of a recession, and I told somebody, I went to this event, and I told this guy sitting next to me, I just lost my job, and he's like, congratulations. He said, and I was like, what?
I haven't thought of it that way.
Oh, thanks.
It's a
And I was like, I
positive.
was still so scared and in shock, but he's like, this is great. What are you going to do?
Right. And thank God for that person
Yeah.
to change your perspective,
Yeah,
right?
instead of saying, oh, you poor
Yeah.
thing, I hope you can eat because we're in the middle of a recession. It was like,
Right.
yeah, great.
So what does
Yeah.
cracking the code mean to
Well, cracking the code, the way I looked at, trying to take control of your life, which you really can't do, but everybody tries to keep from spinning out of control. But it's like, I have points in my book, I have, several chapters, and then it's like you have to know each chapter one at a time. It's like learning the combination to a safe. You have all the numbers, but you don't know what order they go in or which way to turn it. So that's what I try to explain in the book is what's the combination. So by the time you get to the end of my book, you've cracked the code, you can open the safe, and inside is your own happiness because you're not concerned about all the things in life that nag at you. And I show people how they can actually think about things like finances. People don't notice how much money they spend, and they wonder why at the end of the month they don't have enough money to pay their electric bill. But if they just figured out how much money they spent going to Starbucks or just wasting, all of a sudden they'd have a lot more money. So
cigarettes?
oh, cigarettes
It's a big
in the book.
and alcohol.
It's $200,000. The normal habit in 20 years.
Wow.
It's $200,000.
And it's so toxic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Everything in moderation, really.
Yeah.
Once you really get your addictions to a chronic level, it's just going to start draining you and be like not a good thing in your life. I mean, sometimes it's nice to get a little buzz from like a beer, but then if you're chronic, obviously there's a lot of chronic alcoholics in this world now. So it's like that's taking it to the extreme. But in moderation, it can be enjoyable and fun. And if you're careful, drink responsibly.
Right. In other words, take control of your
I like
drinking.
a good beer.
Okay, we have 2 minutes, so we're going to be closing with how do people get a hold of you and buy your book, and what's your website?
All right. People can get the book. It's on Amazon and Kindle
Yeah, we talked about that, yeah.
in 4
Sorry.
different countries. In fact, the book.
There's the website. We got that up there.
Oh.
Yay.
That's it.
He has a cool song on there. And you had an email on a sheet, right?
Yes, I do.
If people would like to contact David.
Yes, I don't know if you can see this. It's
just read it out.
okay. It's
David
at chatfieldentertainment.com.
Yeah.
And
there
I
we go.
answer my own emails. I don't have somebody who's doing that for me.
Woohoo.
And I answer my own phone. I basically relate to people, and I'm open to just about everyone.
You mingle with us little people out here, huh?
Nobody's any bigger than anyone
We're
else.
all the same.
I'm just teasing.
So the call to action for you today is write down some things that make you happy and then go do some of them. Figure it out. If you like to paint or go to the beach, plan it, write it in your little schedule. I need to go do something to play and have fun in life and be happy. That is your call to action. And cheer someone up today. And another thing is, thank you, Marla, for being here. And, you, David, thank you for coming. I enjoyed talking to you. Next week, we're going to be talking about multi-vibrational sound therapy. We have a really cool guest who's from the opera and has this incredible voice. Like, it's just like, whoa, like floor you. So tune in next week and hear about that, multi-vibrational sound therapy. Thank you for watching the Street Angel Show today. I really love you guys for supporting the show and watching. I hope you got a lot of good messages out of it. And we will see you next week. I love you. Bye.
If you're broken and you cannot find the way, if you're hungry and you need a place to stay.
You are watching T Radio V, Radio and TV.